Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. So today we're looking at a topic that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a dystopian sci-fi movie, but it's actually an urgent real-world crisis happening right now. We're exploring the dark side of artificial intelligence. We constantly hear about how AI is going to cure diseases or write code for us, but there's this deeply unsettling shadow to the technology that's fundamentally changing the very nature of crime. This is the AI scam epidemic. And by the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly how this tech is being used, why it's just so devastatingly effective, and why our entire concept of trust is being completely rewritten.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to picture a totally normal afternoon. You're at home, the phone rings, a mother answers it, and immediately her blood just runs cold. On the other end of the line is her teenage daughter. She's crying. She's panicked. She's screaming, "Mom, please help me. I've been kidnapped." The terror is just visceral. And the voice, it sounds exactly, unmistakably like her daughter. Every single inflection, every breathless sob is a perfect match. So the mother, driven by pure parental instinct, does what literally any of us would do. She immediately complies with the kidnapper's demands and wires the money to save her child's life. But here is the absolutely terrifying twist. The daughter was never on the phone. Hours later, this frantic mother discovers her child was sitting safely in a classroom at school the entire time. The daughter had zero idea any of this was even happening. That voice on the phone, the one that conveyed such authentic, heart-wrenching terror, was entirely generated by artificial intelligence. It was a digital ghost designed specifically to steal from this family. And that story brings us to this central, deeply unsettling question. If a machine can perfectly imitate the people you love, how do you know what's real? You see, criminals just don't need to operate like they used to. They've stopped wearing ski masks. They've stopped breaking into houses. They don't even need to hide from security cameras anymore. Today, they can steal your identity, drain your bank accounts, and hijack your very voice without ever physically touching you. They bypass your locks by hacking your trust. All right, let's get into Section 1, weaponizing your digital voice. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast between the past and the present. For decades, we were trained to spot the old scams, right? We looked for those fake emails from mysterious princes. We listened out for suspicious phone calls with that weird, heavy static. We spotted the obvious typos and the blatant lies. But AI changed everything. We are now dealing with cloned voices and weaponized panic. Criminals are no longer trying to trick your logical brain with a poorly written email. They are directly hacking your nervous system with terrifyingly accurate manipulation.
And look at how disturbingly simple this process actually is. Step 1, they find a completely innocent TikTok video, a YouTube clip, really just any voice recording you've posted online. Step 2, they extract the raw audio from that file. Step 3, they feed it into an AI tool to clone the human voice. And finally, Step 4, they initiate the scam, calling your loved ones. That is literally all it takes. Your digital footprint, those fun little videos you post online, is all the raw material a criminal needs to steal your digital identity and weaponize it against your own family.
And this right here is the part that truly shocks people. How much audio do they actually need to pull this off? Just a few seconds. Seriously, that's it. Modern AI tools are so insanely sophisticated now that they don't need hours of you talking to build a profile. With just a few seconds of your distinct vocal patterns, an artificial intelligence can perfectly map and clone your voice. So suddenly, simply by speaking online, your voice is no longer exclusively yours. So why does this work so incredibly well? Well, because scared people don't think carefully. They react. The criminals orchestrating these attacks aren't just relying on fancy technology. They're weaponizing raw human emotion. They use fear, panic, and extreme urgency to completely bypass your logic. When you believe your child or your spouse is in immediate, life-threatening danger, you aren't going to stop to analyze the audio quality or ask security questions. You act, and that immediate reaction is exactly what the scammers are banking on to steal your money. Moving on to Section 2, industrializing the scam industry. Okay, so we've looked at the individual, deeply personal level of this crime, but now we need to zoom out of it. AI hasn't just provided a shiny new upgrade to petty fraud, it has fundamentally revolutionized the entire industry. The consequences are exploding and the victims are literally everywhere.
Elderly people are having their entire life savings wiped out by voices pretending to be their grandchildren in trouble. Major businesses are transferring millions of dollars after receiving what sound like completely legitimate urgent phone calls from their own executives, and ordinary families are being psychologically manipulated by machines pretending to be humans. No demographic is safe from this.
To understand why this is suddenly everywhere, we have to look at how access has changed. Think about it. In the past, advanced AI tools belonged strictly to giant tech companies locked inside secure laboratories. It took millions of dollars and massive teams of engineers to run them. But in the present, these tools are accessible to anyone online. A lot of them are completely free, and they require absolutely no technical skill to operate. The barrier to entry hasn't just been lowered, it's completely vanished. Almost anyone with a Wi-Fi connection can now launch a highly sophisticated cyber attack. And that leads us to a truly terrifying concept: infinite scale. Think about a traditional scammer. A human being can only make one phone call at a time, right? They have to sleep, they get tired, they can only target so many people in a given day. But AI changes the math. Now, one single criminal can target thousands of victims simultaneously. They can deploy thousands of perfect fake voices and perfect fake faces all at once. The sheer efficiency of this fraud is entirely unprecedented.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 3, the end of reality. Because voice cloning for phone scams, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. We have to look at the broader existential threat this technology poses as it moves beyond just audio. The threat goes so far beyond fake phone calls. AI can now generate full, hyper-realistic videos called deepfakes. This means criminals can create fake politicians declaring war. They can generate fake CEOs announcing catastrophic company news just to tank a stock price. They can fabricate entirely fake interviews or broadcast fake national emergencies. We're talking about the ability to create fully fabricated realities and events out of thin air with the potential to manipulate markets, influence elections, and threaten public safety. And this brings us to a chilling realization that experts in law enforcement are desperately trying to warn us about right now. Seeing is no longer believing. For all of human history, visual evidence was the absolute gold standard of truth. If we saw it on video, it happened. But we are rapidly entering a world where video evidence may become completely untrustworthy. Every single year, this tech becomes harder and harder to detect. Imagine a society where anyone can be framed, anyone can be impersonated, and anyone can become digitally replaceable. Look, it is absolutely crucial to understand that the crisis is already here. This is not some sci-fi scenario 50 years down the line. Law enforcement agencies around the world are warning that AI-driven fraud is on track to become one of the largest cybercrime threats in human history. Criminal organizations are agile, and they are adopting and weaponizing these tools much, much faster than governments and regulators can possibly respond. Artificial intelligence was created to empower humanity, but we are now entering unfamiliar territory where truth itself is becoming harder to recognize every single day. So I'll leave you with this. If AI can perfectly imitate humans, how will we know what's real anymore? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your guard up, stay informed, and I'll see you next time.